Good evening, everyone. I am Vaishnavi Vaiti from Kirin Advisors. Welcome to the virtual roadshow of Afcom Holdings Limited. Today, we will provide a brief overview of Afcom Holdings Limited and its insights into the air cargo industry. Founded in 2013 by Captain Deepak Parshuraman, a seasoned aviation industry veteran, Afcom Holdings Limited received in principle approval from the Ministry of Civil Aviation, India, in 2017 to embark on its journey for starting its cargo airline operations, focusing on cargo flights to Asian countries. Having Singapore as a hub, the company operates on the airport to airport basis through general sales and service agents GSSAs in India and Far East. From management team, we have Captain Deepak Parshuraman, Chairman and Managing Director. Good evening, sir. Welcome.
Good evening, ma'am. Welcome
Mr.
all.
Mr. Kannan Ramakrishnan, Whole-Time Director. Welcome,
Good
sir.
evening,
Good
ma'am. Thank you.
Mr. Rajnikant, Managing Director from Aksan Capital Advisory Private Limited.
Happy evening to all.
Good evening, sir. Welcome. And we also have Ms. Pooja Jadia, Manager from GYR Capital Advisors Private Limited.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, ma'am. Welcome. Now we will play a short AV about the company.
Welcome to Afcom Holdings Limited, a leader in air cargo transportation established in 2013 by aviation veteran Captain Deepak Parshuraman. Captain Parshuraman, with over 25 years of experience in aviation, including purchase and financing of wide-body aircraft, Boeing, Airbus and Sukhoi, worked extensively with global airlines for joint ventures, worked with Lufthansa Consulting for setting up international cargo airline operations in India. He has also been managing and operating airline operations and has been instrumental in promoting various cargo airlines in India. Afcom Holdings was co-founded by Kannan Ramakrishnan, who brings 19 years of leadership experience in diversified industries, including retail and luxury automobile. Operating through strategic partnerships with Taylor Logistics and Air Logistics Group, we connect India and the ASEAN region with unparalleled efficiency. Our core values of integrity, trust, and customer-first approach drive us to exceed expectations in every mission. With 80 years of collective experience and over 20,000 flying hours, our team ensures seamless 24/7 operations. Our current fleet includes 2 Boeing 737-800 BCF aircraft, ready to deliver your cargo on time. From general cargo and perishables to high-value goods and hazardous materials, Afcom provides fast, flexible solutions tailored to your needs. Our rapid charter services guarantee time-critical deliveries worldwide, supported by state-of-the-art temperature-controlled facilities. Afcom Holdings Limited, where service excellence goes beyond flying cargo. Join us in crafting a connected future.
Thank you for watching. Now I hand over to Deepak sir to give us more insights about the company and its future plans. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. So as we had discussed earlier, the entire objective was started in 2016, where we found a space for cargo operations in the Southeast Asian or the ASEAN region. Primarily, the thought process and the direction of research was the ASEAN countries growing to be a global production center. COVID and post-COVID, these centers have grown very rapidly to become the production center of the world. The two biggest factors that come in here is that the production in this region is interdependent. That the raw materials come from one of the ASEAN countries, semi-finished goods in another, finished goods in the next, end product, and somewhere even packaging, it goes to some other ASEAN countries. So we have two-way trade, we have what should I say? We have two-way movement of cargo, substantial movement of cargo. This region is not connected by much cargo airlines. The movement of cargo, passengers from India to the east is fairly limited. Less than 40% of the international flights going east is towards the east. Less than 40% of the total international flights happening towards from India towards the east is below 40%. So we do not have competition from the passenger baggage load, and this region is growing very rapidly. So we found a niche area to operate. Typically, in the Southeast Asian country, we have 6 markets we operate to. All of them are within 5 hours of flying range. So the entire idea is to operate a narrow body aircraft, a Boeing 737-800, with a gross capacity of 22.5 tons. So the model is small capacity, short range, and high frequency. This, in a nutshell, is our business plan. Ma'am, if you want to go to the presentation now.
Yes, sir. Now we'll start with the presentation.
So, as I said, the objective of this is connecting the ASEAN region with India. But to start with, what is the vision of our company? The vision of our company is to be the most admired company by all its stakeholders. When I say stakeholders, we have typically 4 stakeholders. One, the shareholders, of course. So we want to be a very profitable company. We have been doing very well in the last 2.5 years, and we continue to go that way. So the shareholders see a lot of value to their investments. The second stakeholders are our employees. We are an organization which is hierarchy-less. We have got a very small but a very strong team, and the entire objective is to build a sense of belonging amongst our employees. So to say, we have done certain things which are a first in this area. We have contracted with the Kaizen Institute of Japan to bring in the entire Japanese Kaizen culture and the Gemba culture into our business. The Kaizen Institute would set up the entire Kaizen Center of Excellence. They will run it for 1.5 years, during which they will train our people and take over. So to bring a great value to the employees, to be the best employers, is our objective here. The third is, of course, our customers. Our key is our customers. We have had very good relations in the last 2.5 years since we have been operating through quasi charters. One of the examples, if I was to give, is we did have a customer. I'm sorry, I'll not be able to disclose the names of the customers, who was sending this cargo to Singapore via Hong Kong through transshipment. They gave us a test shipment. The cargo weighed 5 tons, but the packaging, the volumetric load charged by the airline was for 7.5 tons. We went back to the customer saying that we understand the contours of the aircraft better. Our people sat in their factory and repackaged their next shipment, and the total chargeable weight of that cargo volumetric was 5.2 tons. Like this, we go back to our customers and bring them value. So that's why our tagline itself is beyond flying cargo. And the fourth important stakeholder in this business are the regulatory authorities. Our entire endeavor is not to meet the minimum regulatory requirements, but go to a point where Afcom becomes the benchmark for the regulators. Anything that Afcom does later on becomes a law that others will be mandated to do that. So this is our primary vision, to be the most admired company by all our stakeholders. Ma'am, if you could move to the next slide. Kanan sir, would you like to take the...
Yeah. Thanks, Captain. See, our logo, it integrates, some of the key elements that, the shape, has encapsulated, with the idea of beyond flying cargo, and the center space, provides a safety and security of the cargo to the clients and all the stakeholders. And the shape of the hexagon, it shows that interline connectivity, and the cargo operation, involves a lot of, people in the chain, and everybody has to work in tandem. That's what it denotes to. And of course, the arrow denotes, the speed and solidarity. This the with the vision with which, we have created this logo. Next. These are our core values. customer first, service excellence, and act with integrity, innovation, and build on trust and reliable. So this is our core values, and whatever the steps we take, is encapsulates all these core values, and this is what our guiding principle as well. Yeah. So this company was formed in 2013, and 2016, we started our research. As Captain mentioned, that we started studying the market, and by 2019, 2017, we got our in principle approval, to commence the operation, and 2019, we have what do you call ordered the this Boeing 737-800s, and in 2021 we have started our commercial operation through our quasi charters, and in 2022 we have been awarded as by the one of the largest multinational freight forwarder DSV for our service excellence. And 2023 our dry lease aircrafts we have imported into India and got it registered into our company's name as well. These are all some of the tie-ups, the MNC freight forwarders with whom we work very closely, and some of the names we have given, and of course we have been represented by GSSA, very strong GSSA General Sales and Service Agent, Taylor Logistics, which is part of the TTK group, and they represent the airline in India and work very closely with freight forwarders, and we have been represented by Air Logistic Group in the ASEAN region. They represent us represent our airline in the ASEAN region. This is our network, and from Chennai, we have been operating through the quasi charter, and we have created Singapore as an hub, and through Singapore we have reaching the cargo to many of the countries in that region. And when our fleet expansion happens, and we will be start connecting more and more the places directly in our network, particularly in the ASEAN region. So we provide fast, flexible solutions for all cargo needs. And when I mention all cargo needs, the reason is that there's a gamut of the cargo is available, which includes the dangerous cargo, hazardous cargo, perishables, and various types of cargo, odd dimensional cargos, and everything. And we provide the solution. Being the pure freighter aircraft, we are in a position to provide solution for all types of cargo. Yeah. Over to you, Captain.
Yeah, so we have got currently two Boeing 737-800s in our fleet. When we say BCF, it stands for Boeing Converted Freighters. This is a Boeing company designed to convert a passenger aircraft into a freighter aircraft. These has a capacity of 22.5 tons of gross weight and 29.5 tons of volumetric weight. The next slide, ma'am. So as Mr. Kannan said, these are the different types of cargo we handle. So if we look at the entire pyramid, the lowest part of the pyramid from the point of view of freight charges is the perishable cargo. The next is the general cargo. Of course, odd dimension cargo, hazardous material, flying, we do call it flying pharma, perishables, flying fresh. And we have high value goods, we have express cargo, and we have, apart from hazmat, we have dangerous cargo and fragile cargo handling as well. These are the different types of cargo we handle.
Next slide.
As we said, that this is the same way on the different methods we handle the cargo. One is we give dedicated charters. Even as we speak, we are negotiating with certain airlines who want us to give connectivity to their hubs. So that is one dedicated charter. Two, yes, there are certain. Hello.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
I think there's something else that's come in the middle, sir. I'm unable to see the screen.
Yeah, I could see that. I can pitch in. We provide dedicated. The operation
The
sales
screen
team
is
is
vanished.
available. Can we continue?
Yes, sir, you
Please
can
continue.
continue.
Yeah.
Problem here with advertisement popping in.
Okay. So
Yeah,
depends upon the
I'm
client
back.
need. We provide priority handling, and we also provide temperature controlled cargo, the solution for their that kind of a client need actually. Next. Th- This is the role of the GSSA, and GSSA is the General Sales and Service Agent, and they, represent the airline to the freight forwarding community, and the what do you call consignees, and they, their, the feet on street, complement, our sales team and work in the market, to garner the cargo requirement and satisfy the cargo requirements, for the freight forwarding community. Next. This is our operational system where the cross section of the aircraft is provided, and how it is stacked up with the various types of the cargo, and which is in the process of making us to move towards the better space utilization, as well as the optimal yield, the yield creation. And this is market approach that how our team works, that in terms of creating the sales pipeline, and this is a flow chart explaining the sales pipeline. Yeah. Over to you, Captain.
Yeah. So here's the management team. Of course, there's a bit introduction given about me. I'm Deepak. I'm a professional. I'm a pilot by profession. I've worked extensively in the field of air cargo, especially. I've set up multiple airlines before this. I've been involved in large negotiations with Boeing, Airbus, and some of the larger freighter orders were created by us, including conversion programs. I've done a large amount of air cargo charters across various regions. So that, in a nutshell, is about me. Kannan sir, if you could introduce yourself, and I'll introduce the rest of the team.
Yeah, I'm Kannan Ramakrishnan,
Kannan sir?
and yeah, I have got almost 2 decades of experience, in the leadership role, setting up automobile businesses, and had set up the large the dealership network for brands like Mercedes-Benz, Volkswagen, Mahindra and Mahindra, and various other brands, and ran a very successful the automobile conglomerate. And then I had also a lot of experience in the retail chain, and as well as in the pharma. That is the thing, and been associated with this project for the last for 5 years, and being in the Afcom, spearheading the the formation, and looking at the expansion of the project.
Wing Commander Jagan Mohan Mantena is an Air Force veteran of former helicopter pilot. Currently, he's a civil helicopter pilot and comes with the experience on the flying and the technical side, but has been with us in this journey from 2017. The next slide, ma'am. Mr. Srinivasan is our independent director, a company secretary with over 20 years of experience, and he's our company secretary. I'm sorry, yeah, he has a company secretary. He's our independent director. Been in businesses quite a bit. He has also headed a lot of committees in Tamil Nadu, both of the Institute of Company Secretaries and other allied Chamber of Commerces. Dr. Lalit Gupta is our independent director, a veteran from the aviation industry. He was the former Joint Director General of DGCA. He's got a PhD in aerospace engineering, and he has been quite a forerunner and very well known in this industry for his technical expertise. He has written 9 books in aerospace engineering, which is still part of the curriculum in aerospace engineering in many institutions in India. As a matter of fact, for one of his books in aerospace engineering, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam personally wrote a foreword for his book. So he comes with a very wealth of experience and highly respected in the aviation industry and the regulatory industry. He has also sat in the International Civil Aviation Organization as a representative from India. Rashmi Prithviraj is our other independent director. She comes with over 15 years of experience in running her own businesses. She has had multiple businesses, including design, export of garments and beauty products. Here is our management team, a team I'm very proud of, small but a very strong team. First is Shankar Pandi Ashok. He is the general manager for cargo operations, comes with over 20 years of experience purely in the field of air cargo ground management. He started his career as an operations assistant with Korean Air. Thereafter, he was a cargo manager for Cargolux and 12 years general manager for cargo operations for Emirates in India. And through the 12 years, he had kept as the number one employee of Emirates in India, very highly experienced in managing movement of cargo of different types of aircraft, all the way from a 737 to the largest 777s and the 747-800s. Kochat Narendran, again an industry veteran, has spent over 25 years in DHL. He has created various joint ventures in the cargo logistics business. His last position was as the managing director of NYK, Nippon Yusen Kintetsu, 3 of the largest Japanese freight forwarders, whom he brought together and built a logistics joint venture in India. Coming to Mr. Krishnan, our head of engineering, again very renowned in the engineering, especially in structural engineering of aircraft. His claim to fame has been that he bought a totally crashed Boeing 737 cargo aircraft, which was declared as beyond economic repair by Boeing company itself. He has put it back and is airworthy, and the aircraft flew for 9 years after that. Knows the 737-800 at the back of his hand, down to every nut and bolt. He consults even for the manufacturers and for large MROs, which convert passenger aircraft into cargo. He also created India's first commercial MRO, Airworks. He was the CEO of Airworks, who set up a large MRO for commercial aircraft. Next is Sunil Chandrasekhar. He's our Chief Commercial Officer. Again, entire lifetime spent in the logistics business, right across from DHL and the rest. Last, he headed South Asia and South India and South Asia for FedEx. He has not only headed the sales and marketing, but also managed cargo movement transportation and the logistics planning and load planning for aircraft network for FedEx. And then is Captain Anirvan Chakravarti. He's our chief pilot. He's our director of operations, a hardcore Boeing 737-800 pilot, a very experienced captain. Apart from that, he's also been involved in setting up 2 other airlines as director of operations by setting up the operations of those airlines. Next slide, please. Industry overview. Karan sir, would you like to go through it?
Yeah. See, I mean, we have mentioned, in the preamble also, during our research, we found that, the cargo movement, both inward and outward is keep on increasing year by year. And towards this region, even the growth is very significantly increasing. And the Boeing has forecasted, the average CAGR of 4.1%, year on year for the next 20 years. 20 years is a very long period, and for which 4.1% of CAGR means that this is an industry which is poised for good amount of growth and consistently. And the emergence of the e-commerce is, and the adaptation by the various countries, and the production is getting spread over this region, is further augmenting this the requirement of the cargo movement, and that is very clearly evident from our start of our operation, what we have been witnessing. Next. This is the India's air freight market, and between the comparison of the value of the cargo which got moved between 23 and 28, what it is expected to be, and it is projected to grow at a 5.7% of CAGR. Yeah, next. And again it talks about specifically towards the region, and the region consists of 6 to 7 countries. In all these countries the production activities are very rampant, and different global manufacturers are depending on this the production facilities in this region for their entire global the requirement. So the manufacturing activity is very robust, and India enjoys a very unique position of strategic location, apart from also being either in terms of participating in the value chain, or participating in the finished good production. So India plays a very, very pivotal role, and that is also the reason this region the cargo movement is bilateral, and it is ever growing year on year. Next. This is the figure last 5 years the export and import figures in MMT, million metric tons, what the top 5 the airports got handled year on year. Roughly it's, from Chennai 17,137 million metric tons of cargo has been exported, and close to around 52,545,000 million metric tons has been imported. And this is the dashboard which has been published by the NIC, Government of India, and this data is available in that. It's next. Captain, over to you. Captain?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
So, as we said, that the opportunity in the air cargo sector is very large. Currently, there are no dedicated cargo operators other than one or two who operate for their own captive clients. Yes, we do struggle with a bit of infrastructure, but the rapidity of growth is very high. The amount of unmet demand is fairly large in this sector, and as of today, we don't have any competition within India.
Next. Captain, you can extempore, you can go ahead on the way forward.
Okay, so the way forward is like this, sir, that the entire objective, or we think what our critical success factor is, only two. One is our team, and of course, that the efficiency we bring into what we do. That is where our core value of our vision is, being the most admired by all the 4 stakeholders. Going forward, our initial objective is that 2 of our dry lease aircraft get operational, which will be at a minimum rate of 1 flight per aircraft per day, totaling to initially 12 flights per week. Onwards, with the proceeds of this IPO, we wish to add 2 more aircrafts, taking our capacity from 12 to 24, and finally adding the 5th 737-800 by internal accruals. Now, what are the key things that are required here? On ground, we are DGR qualified. We have the latest state-of-the-art ground handling equipments. We have the finest of the engineering. We have contracted GMR, who is both EASA and FAA, that is European Authority and the US authority approved for engineering, maintenance, and overall of the aircraft. And we've got the right amount of spares tooling. We proudly say that today the combined cockpit experience in our airline is probably the highest in the country, by which I mean that the experience between the captain and the co-pilot put together is the highest in the country in the aircraft on this type of aircraft. So in terms of regulatory requirements, we have met all of them, and which are very stringent. Ma'am, to the next slide. Yeah, this is what we said, that we want to increase our fleet size by 2 more through the proceeds of the IPO, and have 1 through our internal accrual. So we will have total fleet of 5 Boeing 737-800s. In terms of the safety standards and quality, I would take a minute here. Certain things we are doing more than the requirements. We have got 24 hours operations control center, which manages and maps the flight even before takeoff till its touchdown and engines are shut. We have got a maintenance control center, which is also 24/7, which tracks not only the maintenance that is required, but also live monitoring when the aircraft is flying. Apart from that, we have our own in-house quality control department, which oversees every activity of the engineering and the maintenance activities carried out. We have our own continuous airworthiness management organization, which has a stringent sight on the entire maintenance activity of the aircraft. The entire maintenance activity of the aircraft for the next 2 years has been completely mapped, and we are to the extent of readiness that, even to give you an example, if the aircraft takes off from Singapore and there is a small component, or say a small thing as a bulb has fused, before the aircraft lands in Chennai, that particular component with the required engineer and technician are in the parking bay to replace it, and the aircraft is ready to push back for its next flight without any delay. That's our level of preparedness. Of course, as we said, digressing a little from here, our key focus is our work culture, which is the Kaizen. Our focus is that there is a continuous improvement every day, everywhere, and everyone. Next slide, ma'am. So this is our SWOT. Karan sir, can I hand it to you?
Yeah. See, the strength, we provide the speedy transportation because in the beginning, Captain mentioned that, in this region, the foreign carriers, they are the one who operates, and a very less number of, the wide body passenger aircrafts, operates, to these countries, and not many countries are directly connected with, southern part of the India, and for that matter, not many countries are connected, very frequently to the other parts of the India as well. So we provide direct connectivity that becomes, the speedy transportation of the cargo, and which is very highly, I would say that, very high strong point for us. And of course, because we provide, we are a pure flighter operation, and we provide, solution for all types of cargo, and we provide guaranteed, delivery, within the time frame what we agree. And sometimes, the passenger belly aircraft operators, that is passenger, airlines, which operates, through wide body aircrafts, and if there are some free capacity, available on any particular sector, they may probably drop down the price, so the price competitiveness is, perceived as one of the weakness. But of course, the opportunities are plenty, and as I mentioned some time back, the growth of the e-commerce and the dependence of, the goods movement, for the e-commerce activity across the region is a great opportunity. And the threat, of course, as Captain mentioned some time back, right now there are no homegrown, the competition, direct competition for us. But looking at the success, probably sometime later, few more people can jump in. Okay, next. Yeah, Rajini ji, you are.
Yes, sir. Good evening to all. This key financial highlights in a 3 different column. First one is on the total income. The graph which has been clearly explained that from financial year ended 21 to till 24 February, the growth has been phenomenal. You can see that every year the growth has been jumping. And visa-wise, the EBITDA and PAT margin is also considerably increasing. And that's how it shows on the third column in terms of graphing how the EBITDA and PAT margin has been growing year on year. Next slide.
May I add in here with the point?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, FY21, and we started the operation by September. So the figures, representative figures, the revenue was only for 7 months, and the following year it is a full year of commercial operation. And in that, we were operating the quasi charter. We were operating 2 schedules, and the last year we have increased from the 2 schedules to one more schedule added. So total 3 schedules. What you call we have been doing, and that is also one of the main reason that the additional capacity by way of adding the schedule is also the reason for the growth in terms of revenue and the resultant the EBITDA and PAT.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
This talks about the profit and loss account statement for the last 3 years, and the stub period ended on February 24. As Director Kanan sir said that FY21 the revenue has closed to 13 crores, which is for the short period, not the entire full financial year. And subsequent to that, there has been a considerable increment in terms of adding the fleet and other kind of cargo services into it. So which shows a considerable increment year on year. If you could see that, I would say 100% growth on from FY22 to 23. And FY23 to 24, that is still only on 11 months, and compared with March, again it's been considerable increment. As long as the top line is getting improved, even the bottom line is also getting improved in terms of value as well as the percentage of margin. And EBITDA margins are continuously maintained on the similar percentage, because the operational cost has not been moved off vis-a-vis the increase in revenue. So the entire group of company and the management has taken a well control in terms of deploying the expenditures, which has been fully controlled. That's the reason the EBITDA margin has been considerably increased year on year instead of getting into down. And visa-wise, the finance cost also has been controlled. And in all put together, the entire operation, the bottom line, as far as the return on capital, return on equity is concerned, the bottom line has been considerably increasing. Considering, other than the financial year FY21, FY22 it shows a 10%, FY23 it's a 16%, and FY24, 23-24 for 11 months it shows 17%. So this shows a good sign. The company has been continuously growing in terms of top line as well as the bottom line. Next slide. This talks about the assets and liabilities of the company. If you could see that the net worth has been continuously increased from FY22 till FY24. It shows, you can see that 22 crore was the net worth. That is the second year of the financial year started in terms of full-fledged financial year commercial operation. And 23 again with the support of reserves and the other components, the net worth has been increased from 22 to 73 crores. For FY23-24 till the period of 11 months, again the net worth has been increased by 100 crores. So this shows. Coming to the liabilities, the non-current liabilities has been 100% controlled well within the operation, and there is no much of outstanding which shows as a non-current liabilities. And coming to the current liabilities in terms of total, you can see that the current borrowings are last financial only the current borrowings has been increased. Otherwise, paying to the third parties like suppliers or vendors or even the service provider, the amounts has not pretty much increased. Income tax as well as the gratuity provision. Other than that, nothing has been greatly impacted into the financial statements. Other current liabilities, it's purely on the advance received, or I could say that some of the other short-term liability which has to be discharged from the company side. Liabilities has been fully controlled. You can see that financial year 22, the overall liabilities has been 3 crore, and 23 financial it's 9 crore, and 24 this has been increased to 28 crore. It's purely on the current borrowings. Other than that, the overall current liabilities in terms of cash flow has been fully controlled from the company side, which has been the fixed assets for the purpose of utilizing the operation. FY21 it's into lakhs only, and FY23 it's been grown to 12 crores, and FY24 is also 12 crores. Other than that, there are non-current assets which might utilize over a period of time for the purpose of expansion of the business. And coming to the current assets, which is in liquidable assets, inventories are well maintained in terms of not to disturb the operations, and trade receivables are under control. As against the turnover of 130 crore plus, we are landing with a trade receivable of only 17 crores, which means almost 1.5 months receivables which is pending. Cash flow which shows the 2.62 crore for the current period, and that is on 11 months operation. Short-term loans and advances which was 29 crores. So there are a couple of investments which are given into the business operation. Other current assets to the tune of 45 crores. Again, this is invested for the trade assets which has to be capitalized over a period of time due to non-commercials that has been kept as an other current assets only. So if you could see that the overall asset has been increased from 8 crore from the financial year 21 to 110 crore for the financial year 23-24. So overall, if you could see that the whatever money which has come from the business or come from the equity and even the borrowings has been properly deployed into the business asset only. Next slide. These are some key highlights on the cash flow side. If you could see that net cash flow from the operational side, operations as well as the investment, and even from the cash flow financing, and net cash flows also reflecting here. Next slide. This is self-explanatory in nature in terms of key ratios like return on equity, return on capital employed, and debt service coverage ratio, and the debt equity ratio. Next slide. This is another important key ratios, how the current ratio has been taken from the company side, and the receivable to the turnover ratio, and the EPS and net asset value per share.
Issue or I'll take care of that.
Yeah.
Afcom Holdings Limited is going to issue 68,36,400 equity shares at a face value of rupees 10 each. The price band is rupees 102 to 108. The lot size is 1,200 equity shares. The issue size is 73.83 crore at upper price band. The issue will open and closes for anchor investor on 1st August 2024. And for other than anchor investors, the issue will open on 2nd August 2024 and closes on 6th August 2024. Now 34,000 equity shares are available for QIP. 9,73,200 equity shares available for non-individual investors. 22,75,200 equity shares available for retail investors, and 3,54,000 equity shares available for market maker. The pre-issue equity shares of the company is 1,80,21,306, and the post-issue number of equity shares will be 2,48,57,706. The company intends to utilize its issue proceeds towards taking of new aircraft on lease basis up to 42 crore 79 lakh 91,000, and prepayment or repayment of all or portion of certain outstanding borrowings availed by the company, which is up to 10 crore. Then funding of working capital requirement 8 crore, and other remaining amount will be for general corporate purpose.
Thank you. Now we will start with the question and answer session. I request all the participants to post their questions in the comment box. Thank you. So first question is from Ms. Shabina. Can you discuss the company's network and route structure and how it will evolve post IPO?
Captain.
Yeah. So with regard the company's network, the primary network we are doing is to the ASEAN countries. So initially, it's the Southeast Asian countries. We intend to operate to Hong Kong, Bangkok. I'm sorry, to Singapore, Bangkok, and Hanoi. This is our primary thing. We are going to do interlining from Singapore and Bangkok to onward connectivities. That is Australia, New Zealand, and to Korea and Japan. Both ways, outbound as well as inbound. The third component is, of course, we are going to have intermittent flights to Jakarta and Manila at a later date. Now, post this is our confirmed network. Over and above this, there have been discussions on doing flights during the day to certain other destinations, but not firmed as yet. Post IPO, our network widens because we are adding 2 more aircrafts to the capacity and further interlining from Hong Kong.
Okay. Next question, please. Saurabh Gupta. How many 373
Correct. Currently, we have 2 Boeing 737-800s in our fleet. With the procedure of the IPO, we plan to add 2 more. Thereafter, with the internal accruals, 1 more 737-800. In all, a total of 5 737-800 BCF in our total fleet plan.
Next question, please. Saurabh Gupta. What is procedure and advance payment need to be done for onboarding these aircrafts on lease to our portfolio?
Okay, there are 2 parts to the question. One is with regard to the procedure and the advance payment. Coming to the advance payment, for each aircraft, we put in a 6 months lease deposit. That's one. Then there is another cost component called entry into service, which includes our pre-lease inspection of the aircraft, verifying the documents of the aircraft, test flying the aircraft, ferrying the aircraft from whichever location it is back to India, carrying out certain mandatory modifications that is required for operations mandated by DGCA India, maintaining certain levels of spares, customs duty of 2.75%, and insurance of the aircraft, and certain level of training of crew for this aircraft. So that, in a nutshell, becomes the cost for inducting an aircraft. Procedures, of course, the entire DGCA process, all the details are aircraft is submitted to DGCA, and in-principle import permit is granted. Thereafter, an NOC to import the aircraft, and finally, the aircraft is bought on a approved YA flight plan. That, along with the deregistration and export certificate of airworthiness, that covers the procedure part of it. Even sir, would you like to ask something?
No, that's it. You have covered it, Captain.
Okay. Next question, please. Ganapati TV. After 96 months of lease, is there any risk of non-renewal or abnormal increase in lease rent?
No. After 96 months of operations, that's almost 8 years, there is no increase in the lease rental. Primarily, we may see a dip in the lease rental because lease rental always forms a percentage of the value of the aircraft. So the net market value of the aircraft, or what we call the residual value of the aircraft, actually comes down over a period of time. So renewability of the contract is a given because if you have 8 years of proper operations with proper lease rentals being paid, the lessor is the happiest. The lease rental may remain the same or may see a dip in the rentals because the residual value of the aircraft has come down.
Next question, please. Nishthavi. What are your revenue and profitability guidance for next 3 to 5 years?
Kanan sir, would you like to take the question?
Yeah. See, whatever we have recorded so far is with the limited operation of three schedules per week, and from there as we mentioned in during our presentation, we are increasing our capacity offering quite considerably. So the top line growth will be significant, and the dry lease operation, these aircrafts are going to be pressed into operation for more than 10 hours in a day. So these operations provides us a lot of the economics of scale can be brought in, and that will definitely what you call make the the bottom line also more healthier. For I mean, I must say that both the top line revenue growth in terms of the percentage, and the percentage of PAT will definitely be better, and for all conservative sake, it can be maintained at the same level. PAT, this is what we can say.
Okay. Next question, please. Pankaj Yadav. Promoter holding pre-IPO is 58.94%. At what valuation the previous equity dilutions were done?
Kanan sir?
Pooja ma'am, you want to?
Actually, all the capital built up is mentioned in the offer document itself, and it is self-explanatory. So you can read that.
Dinesh. What is the long-term fleet plan, including aircraft types and sizes, to cater to evolving market demands?
Kanan sir?
Captain, you go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. The entire idea is that we are looking at three phases. Phase one, that is immediate, which we are looking at a near foreseeable future, is to move the fleet size to 5 Boeing 737-800s. While we do this 5 737-800 operations, we are through interline partners connecting to Korea, Japan, Australia, New Zealand, these destinations. So the phase two, we want to bring wide body aircraft, that is a Boeing 777s. Initially two aircraft, thereafter two more. The objective is to connect further eastern destinations as South Korea and Japan. Our This is our phase two. Of course, the long-term phase three would be also using the wide-body aircraft to fly to South and West Africa, and the 737-800 fleet would also become a feeder to our 777s, growing Chennai to be a major cargo hub, a connecting hub between the West and the East.
Okay. Next question, please. Vaibhav Patil. How to bring more pilots to our portfolio as competition is stiff? Pilot availability is a major concern.
Ma'am, this can be answered by the fact that you will have to understand what the pilot's requirements are, what is the current pressures they face in the profession. Now, one of the biggest strengths we bring to the table are all our flights are fairly long stage. For example, we are flying into Singapore. So one rotation is 8 hours to 9 hours. The block time is 10 hours of flight. So what typically happens is that when a pilot leaves that night, he's back in the morning. So our utilization of pilots are high. That is, in a 21 days cycle, the pilot completes almost 80 to 85 hours of flying. So the pilots has been utilized to full. The pilots, being night flights, fly only alternate days. So they fly in the night, they are back in their base next day morning. So the biggest problem with pilots is family time, that is governed. Beyond 21 days, they are given 9 continuous day off. So creating a perfect work and professional and personal life balance is a critical factor. Has pilots for the last 30 years, been pilot for last 30 years, we understand that there's a high pressure job. So understanding the pilot's needs is what is critical, and we have been very successful in attracting pilots. We have got, as I said, our combined cockpit experience is the highest, will be the highest in the country.
Okay. Next question, please. Pankaj Yadav, what is the cargo segment-wise revenue in percentage?
Ganan sir, would you like to take this question?
Yeah, these details are also given in the the RHP, and just to tell you that the what do you call the perishables contribute 6 to 7%, and ODC is roughly around 30 percentage plus, and the dangerous goods and hazardous material, we call it as hazmat, that contributes around 22 percentage plus, but exact details are given in the RHP.
Okay. Next question, please. Alliance Poonam. Currently, we have charting arrangement. Who are the operator of these aircrafts and what are our payment arrangements with them?
Ganan sir? Well, Airmark and Asian have been two operators with us. Currently, Airmark is operating and the payments are in advance.
Okay. Next question, please. Nishtha, if this business is so lucrative, why are we not seeing any company getting into this business, including the current passenger carrying airline companies?
Uh, there are two answers to this question. Ma'am, there were airlines in India as well earlier. The low cost airline model was there in the world for over 35 years before Captain Gopinath started it in India as Air Deccan. After this, there are much more low cost carrier airlines than regular carriers in the country. So it is always a first mover. 35 years it took for a low cost carrier concept to come in India. Of course, the pioneer was Captain Gopinath with Air Deccan. After that, we saw a whole host, everybody coming in, have been coming in only as low cost carriers. That's one. Now, coming to the passenger airline, ma'am, they are in a different business segment. There, there, the scalability and volume is very large. Take, for example, an Indigo or an Air India or a Vistara, they are talking in terms of hundreds of planes. And Air India has got a 490 aircraft order, apart from the aircraft they have. There's a 500 aircraft order by Indigo. That level of scalability is not there in this business. The scalability, the business is lucrative, but the scalability is limited. And the third point is that these passenger airlines have belly capacity, which is like free cash for the airline. So they will not create a pure freighter and add to their competition.
Okay, sir. Next question, please. Dinesh, what is the pricing strategy to compete with other cargo airlines in the market?
Well, so there are two or three things we look at pricing. Firstly, at the moment, we are in a very comfortable position that there isn't much competition in the areas we operate. But the pricing strategy goes in three or four ways. One is that we are purely B2B operators. We do not go to the end exporters or importers. We work only with freight forwarders. So there are basically three kinds of cargo we get. One is the spot cargo, which is sold and managed by a general sales and service agent who give us a guarantee for minimum 50% load factor in the flight. The second is we work on project cargo, where we, along with the forwarders, to large manufacturers and importers, we go and give a 3 months, 6 months, where they are project or exporting cargo, which will be like 50 tons a month, 60 tons a month. They, I mean to say that their order is serviced by us with regard to the transportation. So there is a specific price charge for that. And lastly is a block space arrangement where certain forwarders come and pick up a certain amount of space in our aircraft and they pay for it. That is a separate pricing. Whether they carry the cargo or not, they pay for it. So these are the three or four methodologies in which the pricing is done. And of course, spot pricing, as I said, it depends on the market
Okay.
and the
Next question.
volume.
Okay. Next question, please. Dikshit Doshi, Till then, our aircrafts were on charter basis, and from now onwards, this will be on dry lease basis. So, how it will change our EBITDA margins from current 22 to 24 percentage?
Karan sir?
Yeah, I mentioned, I answered this question earlier also. The EBITDA margin, definitely will be improved because the scale of operation is going to become larger, and also the various the costs or will be well further negotiated, and that will improve the EBITDA margin actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next question, please. Dinesh, given the significant concentration of revenue from a limited number of customers, what strategies are in place to mitigate the risk of revenue volatility and ensure the long-term sustainability?
So there are two things here. The list of customers we gave were our key customers, but the customers are large. The only problem is that our capacity at the moment is limited. Going forward, it will only increase, and our customer base will widen. That's point number one. So it's purely because of lack of capacity that we are having lesser number of customers today. But these customers are also the top 10 customers globally. And as our capacity increases, we'll be able to take more customers into our fold.
Next question, please. Monica Mehta, risks in the sector as major airlines like Deccan Cargo and Spice Express fail. Sector is very capital intensive. How do you plan to steer through?
Okay, ma'am. Let me bring two or three factors into this. So, firstly, speaking about Deccan Cargo, there was a very limited opportunity on Airbus A310, which was, I would say, one generation earlier aircraft. Two, I mean, I'm sorry, it's not right on my part to talk about somebody's business and business failures, but our understanding was substantial amount of money was expended to create ground facilities rather than fleet management. But beyond that, I would not like to talk about my any other airlines the reason of failure. Coming to Spice Express, I would say that they were very profitable. They did extremely well. As a matter of fact, large entities like Carlyle, within 1 year of operation, gave them a valuation of 22,500 crores and picked up stake. Their larger passenger airline operations, the problems arising out of it, not meeting the commitment of lease rental payments, airport charges, and the rest, was the cause that it brought immense pressure on Spice Express.
Next question, please. Anurag Shah, can you elaborate Afcom Holdings' relation with Fly Apps?
Fly SBS. Karan sir, would you like to take this call? Fly SBS is a company which is also promoted by us, but that's a completely independent entity and does not have any commonality with Afcom. It's a private jet charter company we have.
Okay. Next question, please. Vibha Deshpande, what are possibilities of passenger cargo to shift their focus to cargo and create a competition for us?
Sir, as I said before, one of the reasons passenger airlines do not enter into this foray is because the volume or the scalability is fairly limited compared to passenger airlines. Again, over 200 aircraft Indigo has. It has got 500 more aircraft on order. Air India has more than 490 aircraft on order. So that's a very different, very large business. This is a very niche, focused business, and in terms of scalability, there is no comparison. And as I said, that for them, their belly cargo capacity is free money. So they will not get into this to get hit their own revenues, which is free cash today.
Next question, please. Ishita Ahuja, wishing you all the best for the IPO.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you
Your
all. Thank you very
great
much.
insights.
Thank
So
you.
I think we have covered majority of questions. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Deepak sir. Thank you, Kanan sir. Thank you,
Thank you
Rajnikant sir.
so
And
much.
thank you, Pooja ma'am.
Thank
All
you,
the
ma'am,
best
and
for the
thank you all for coming on the call.
Thank
Thank you
you.
all.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.